All right, class. So we're back, and again, this is Shayla. We are here with Miss Biley Glenn, who is my instructional coach, and she's completing her teacher leadership interview. And we're again talking about developing teacher leadership. And the question that I want to pose to her is, what are the relationship between stakeholders, organizations, and teacher leaders?
And the relationship between the three is a partnership. We form a partnership with one another.
And it goes back to collaboration, being able to include everyone's interests and thoughts and ideas that either way have an ultimate goal.
Right.
And even if that goal is within the school, it's still the ultimate goal of the county, and so forth and so forth.
Right.
And what are some of the similarities and differences that you see between working with stakeholders, organizations, and teacher leaders?
Okay, so stakeholders could be anyone. It could be other teachers, it can be the students, it can be parents. And so to me, a similarity would be the focus is really on student achievement, you know, the success for all our students. So that would be a similarity that I see between the three. Differences, I think, is I guess maybe the way we go about achieving the goal of student achievement and success for all students. I mean, of course, you know, teachers every day, you are instructing the students. You know, you're motivating them, you're encouraging them to do their best. Organizations do it, but they do it in a different way. Maybe it's through, they motivate the students by providing incentives, you know, for student achievement. And then teacher leaders, of course, because we are supporting you all, that reflects whatever your emphasis you're putting on student achievement and success for all students.
So in terms, or actually in essence, is how y'all best practices would be the differences. Everybody's paradigm is different. Number 13, how can teacher leaders help change those differences? Some of the differences being, you may perceive I should teach a content maybe this way, and one person does it this way. How can we bridge that gap on those differences?
I think that if we have a shared focus on what is meaningful for everyone, that is a way that those differences can be changed. Because just because you teach a concept one way and someone else teaches it another way doesn't mean that either way is right or wrong. You know what I mean? Everybody has their own style, their own flavor of teaching. So I feel like if everyone can just focus on the meaningful part of that, that if we can have a shared focus on that it could help change those differences.
Okay. Where do you see the role of teacher leaders in the future, and why? And it's a very new concept. It's been around. It's since the early 90s. So it's only been about 2 decades with teacher leadership. Where do you see the role of teacher leaders in the future?
Okay, so I see the role of teacher leaders evolving, just as teaching and learning is evolving. Like my role as a coach builds new capacity for school leadership. It continues to influence individual teachers and teacher teams. It builds organizational capacity, and it adapts with technology.
Okay. And so there were other questions, and the main question that I have that I struggled with in our first assignment, we had to focus on a passage that, on our readiness exam, we had to focus on a passage it kind of gauges where we thought we were as teacher leaders. And so one thing that I struggled with was leadership is influence and is influencing. And I struggled because, to me, influencing, most people take it as a negative connotation. When in actuality, I've been reading Awakening the Sleeping Giant, and it says that it can have a positive connotation as well. And one thing that I want to highlight is it says teacher leaders are approachable and influenced primarily through their relationships, which become the foundation upon which teacher leaders are able to share and learn. So do you believe that that is true or false? Leadership is influencing. And does it take a negative connotation? And if so, how do we change it?
Okay, I don't think it takes on a negative connotation. I do agree with it. And kind of going back to what I said earlier about attitude reflects leadership. I mean, it's a trickle down effect. I think that the teachers are influenced by the leadership in the building, just like the students are influenced by the
teacher
teachers
in the classroom.
And so I think relationships are very, very important. I think building relationships are very, very important, from the leader all the way down to the students, even the parents.
Right.
I think that that's very important. And as a coach, I mean, you think about a coach of a football team or a basketball team, you have to develop a relationship with the team members, with the team.
Yes.